Morning, everybody. It looks a little overcast this morning. It's very early. The sun is on the other side. It hasn't quite come around this way yet. But I want to show you some more things that I got out of this glaze fire because, well, it's just nice to see what other people do, and it's also informative, and it keeps you from having to waste a lot of money on colors that you think just suck. So, and then you can spend your money on things that you really like. This little garlic jar is Coyote's Sunrise Shino, and on the lid, I like to experiment with this stuff because, oh, I don't know. You can't do a lot of damage just making the lid funky or making one of these other little things funky, and it serves as a sample to so you can see what your colors are doing with your particular kiln. I swear, you could have 5 different people do this exact same thing, and in their kiln, they will get a slightly different result in each one. So, so these are kind of approximations at best. So anyway, Sunrise Shino, and this is reclaimed clay with a little bit of speckled brown in it. So you're getting a little bit of the iron specks showing through. This is the top of it with Albany slip just over the top. Now Albany slip tends to run a little bit, so I didn't get it real heavy around the edge. I pretty much stayed within this little area right here on the interior, but that's kind of a, I don't know, sort of different effect on that. I didn't put it on anything with a vertical surface, so I don't know how that would behave. But this turned out pretty. I think that's really nice for a little garlic jar. And for those of you that are new to pottery, this is why we put wax on some of these edges, is so that when these things are fired, see, there's no wax right along here either, but there's glaze here. No wax, I meant no glaze right around there. There's glaze here and glaze on the inside, but not on anything that's going to be touching or close in the kiln, so that you can fire these just like this, and they'll still come apart when you take them out of the kiln. So Sunrise Shino with Albany slip just on the top. Set that one there. Here's another little garlic jar. This one is Tourmaline, and let's see, I believe that's a Potter's Choice color. I wouldn't swear to it. This is Tourmaline, and it has Monsoon Seas on the very top. So let's look at this glaze for a minute. This is on speckled brown clay. It's also reclaimed like that one was. Look what happened where the iron spots are. It turned to a little silver sort of a fleck. It's like a piece of mica that you see in concrete or you see on the ground. That's what this kind of looks like. So on the iron spots, the tourmaline made these little silver specks, and it's very pretty. It just gives it a little subtle, different kind of effect that probably would not be in the glaze had it not been on speckled brown clay. Speckled brown clay, I think mine came from high water clay from a trip over east, and I brought some back, but I've had a hard time finding speckled brown clay in this middle part of the country. So here we go. That's tourmaline. I kind of like that dark color, but look at that. That is gorgeous. You see a little bit of those little silver mica looking specks, but that monsoon seas just made that beautiful turquoise, and it's kind of spotted around here where it's not as heavily applied, but most of it I kept to the center because it runs. So you couldn't put monsoon seas on a vertical surface unless you were going to fire it sideways or something. But that monsoon seas is just beautiful. Let's see if that's showing up on here. I think it is coming out pretty good. So that's a nice little addition to this little garlic pot. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Here's a larger garlic pot for heavy users, I guess you might say. This is, let's see what kind of clay. This is speckled brown clay, and it is textured turquoise, and this is a Potter's Choice color. On the lid we have monsoon seas, and look what it did on this particular one. Let's see, monsoon seas. I put 3 coats. I put more monsoon sea on here than I did on here, on this one. So the reaction to the glaze that was already on there is quite different. Actually, the reaction of this glaze on this clay is different from, I mean, it's a Potter's Choice color, but it sure acted different than that one did. This one, it just kind of spread, and there are, let's see, 2.5. There are 3 coats of that on here. It ran, the textured turquoise ran a little bit, but I'm observing how it's separated, and the clay, the raw clay, is showing through in spots. So it didn't separate with lines necessarily. It just sort of drew apart. The coverage is a little more even in here, but it did the same thing on the interior. It broke over the edge quite a bit. I probably had that glaze right up pretty close to the top there, but it sagged down, and so the blue doesn't show up until you get to the bend. But this, I thought that was beautiful. That's kind of what I expected monsoon sea to look like. Where this crystal is, it just the glaze just burst away from it. And so that's an odd little thing. It looks kind of like a star, and on the inside of the lid, it just hardly any of the blue showed up at all. So in order to make that a solid color, you would have to put more glaze on. But if you put more glaze on it, you would have more sagging. So this is kind of a transparent, translucent situation here with that textured turquoise. But it turned out real pretty. Let's see. Here's one of those little sponge holders. This is for some people in Texas. They like let's see if I can hold something behind. I'll hold something behind that I don't know if you can see the little star shape there. I've got my finger in. Oh, I know, I can put a piece of paper behind there. See the little star shape down at the bottom of this. They wanted something with a star on it. You know how people in Texas are. So that's a little sponge holder. This is fire brick with only a little bit of Chino. I bet I didn't, and this is Chino cream. I bet I didn't even get 1/4 of an inch of Chino here. And look, we still got some that ran all the way down here. I am not kidding. Chino cream is runny. So if you ever have another glaze that you want to help it run, like some of the Mako glazes that don't move very, or that don't, they have the reputation of not running. But if you want it to run, put a little Chino cream on it, and it will definitely get some movement for you. Well, that turned out pretty good. It's kind of like a little shaggy dog. It's I like the little feet on things sometimes because it's kind of playful, and I like 3 feet just to break up the prediction. You know, I don't like anybody to be able to predict what they're going to see. 2 more feet over here? No, just 1. So there's a little sponge holder. Here's another little sponge holder. This is Arctic Blue with smoky Merlot up here on the rim. Arctic Blue. Oh, and Arctic Blue is a Potter's Choice color. And Smoky Merlot is also Potter's Choice. And this is on speckle brown clay. Kind of a mottled look. You can see my brush strokes on the inside just a little bit. But it's okay. You know, it doesn't, it's not that distracting. It's a pretty blue. I like the blue. The Arctic Blue. Okay, so there's another little cutie. Here are 3 little guys. These eye washers are, to me, if you're gonna do a test, make something that you know, you've always got a little blob of clay left on your wheel after you've made something. So make something useful and something you can sell. And do your testing on these little things because, I don't know, it's efficient, right? These are little eye washers that I've made from little leftover pieces of clay, and so I do a lot of testing on these. This is speckle brown, and I've got 3 coats of seaweed on this, and that's Potter's Choice. I've got a little bit of frosted melon on the rim. I probably just stuck it into the jar like that and got just a little bit on the very edge. And the frosted melon doesn't even show up. The seaweed just totally took it over, and you can't even tell that it's there. But it makes a nice eye washer, right? And I found out something. So it's useful, and I will definitely profit from it. So let's see. This one is Smoky Merlot. Oh, that's pretty. That's Smoky Merlot with snowy plum on the rim. And again, I probably just put the Smoky Merlot on. I have 3 coats of Smoky Merlot. Nice to know that it by itself, it doesn't run very much. A red that doesn't run, that's unusual. And then I probably just dipped the snowy plum right here. You can see where the snowy plum, there's a kind of a smoky line right around here, and that ran and made this little kind of a girdle right here and a little girdle over here, and I kind of like the way it ran. Very, very unusual. And then it ran on the inside too, and just made kind of a strip that went across the edge. That's real pretty the way that worked. I like snowy plum on smoky Merlot. That's a pretty good combination because some of the smoky Merlot is showing through the snowy plum up here, and it's the smokiness that is giving you that ghost of a line right there. So this is a good combination to write down. That smoky Merlot, 3 coats, and then 1 dip on the rim of snowy plum. This one is frosted melon on the bottom and seaweed on the rim. Now this is seaweed over here. So this is seaweed all by itself with, let's see, what did we put on the edge there? Seaweed and frosted melon on the edge. I know the frosted melon hardly showed up. This is frosty melon by itself down here, and got a little bit of crazing on that. That's interesting. It is not on speckled brown. This is on speckled brown. This is just a regular brown stoneware. So on this one, I just dipped it into the seaweed for a little bit on the rim, and it hardly moved. It looks like it almost was going to run. Maybe if I had put more of this on the edge, it would have moved. Now on the inside, it moved a little bit, but not on the outside. And this frosted melon has, oops, I think I'm getting attacked by ants. The frosted melon definitely cracked and crazed for some reason on this stoneware. It doesn't look bad, and it isn't separated or flaking off or anything. It's just a textural thing to be aware of. It's still functional, right? It's a tester, and I found out something, and I can still sell it for about $8. Okay, this is the pièce de résistance. This little wonderful, just goofy little plate that I made for and it's this is Dillo White right here, the clay. This is a dipped glaze, and it was dipped in frosted turquoise. And my favorite drippy runny thing in the world is that Dunkin' Renaissance Chino cream. I just drizzled some across there. Did I know that it was going to turn gold? No. But isn't that beautiful? I think I could work on the pattern across there a little bit. But what absolutely surprised me and pleased me was that this is gold. And I mean, it's a shiny gold. So I dipped it in frosted turquoise. It's on white clay. I don't know if it would do this on stoneware. I'll have to try one of those and see what happens. But this is dipped frosted turquoise with just a drizzle of Chino cream and some drizzles and drops. Isn't that pretty? That's one to remember because that's a good one. Okay, guys, that's it for this video, and I've got one more. I'll see if I can get that one out here before I get bright sunlight. All right? Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. That looks very celestial, doesn't it? Looks like something happening out in space. I wonder if you can see those little flecks in there. Yeah, you can see those little flecks. That is where the iron spots are coming through that clay. Really, that's kind of a pumpkinish color. It isn't exactly orange, but it's not pink either. It's kind of a neat but unusual color. I like the way it breaks over edges too. It's got that dark line around the edge there. Okay, guys. See you next time.